Hey, Jules Plus Vegan, and thank you so much for stopping by. And for those who are just showing up, you're right on time. So glad you're pursuing avenues in your life and just trying to find a new way. I hope this can be part of that. Thank you for those who supported me yesterday on my video where I indicated my struggle with accepting success and potentially being successful, the fear of success. I really appreciated your feedback, and I was just thinking the answer for that isn't going to come from where we necessarily want. A lot of us, just by right of our birth, would want our birth families to recognize the greatest potential in us. And maybe some of them do. And certainly at times, I'm sure some of them have. But we also need to know that sometimes we're born into families that have challenges and brokenness that we're called to deal with and overcome. Maybe for them and maybe within ourselves. Maybe those people have already left the planet. You'll never be able to be affirmed by them. But you may still be able to find the grace and the blessing in the avenue that God chose to produce you on the planet through. That is your family. I remember I struggled with my mom in my youth at one point, and there was another lady in my life who had kind of become a surrogate mother for me in a way. And whenever I would get too close, she would say, "You know what, Juliana? Your mother is your mom by God's design. And you're going to have to find a way to love her, to know her, to understand that that was God's design." And the same, of course, with my father. And that was really hard for me, but it was God. So often people speak to us and it's actually God, and that was God. And I was able to find a tremendous, amazing relationship with both of my parents. And to this day, my mother and I are just steadfast friends and admire and love so many things about one another. And so I'm able to compartmentalize, and that's kind of the topic of this video. Can you compartmentalize? And I don't mean denial. I just mean being able to put the struggles into certain corners of your mind that you don't necessarily allow yourself to be vulnerable with or tap into unless it's a safe setting, or one in which you're in a position to grow and you are able to open that box with boundaries. I think that's really important. So I, in many ways, have been able to do that, and I certainly recognize that's something my mother did. My mom had already had 11 children by the age of 33. My father was 35. They had 11 kids in 11 years and 10 months, and it was their intention. They both had one sibling, and they always said they wanted a dozen children. And praise God, they didn't stop before number 11, because that would have been me, right? And so anyway, after 33, my mom kind of put that in a box, and she went on to care for the kids, of course, and do many phenomenal things. They ran a co-op, a food co-op. It was one of the first in town. They just did so many community-minded things that anybody with children in school, let alone 11 children, all one grade apart, would do. And then, sadly, partly for my father's drinking and many things I will never know or understand, my parents ended up getting divorced. And oddly, my mother moved away, not my father. So my father had 6 of us at home, including my mom's dad. Such a rare situation. And my mother left. And kind of just started that next chapter. She ended up going back to school. She got a double master's degree. She got a credential. And at 54 years old, she started teaching. And we actually ended up teaching together at a middle school in LA Unified, which was incredible, Los Angeles Unified. So that was kind of just another chapter for her. And after that, she went on to teach adult school, and she did that for another 20 years. And, from there, now she's president of, the Whittier Art Association. She, teaches at Trade Tech in Los Angeles. She's a dynamo at 86 years old. But she had her own rough childhood, and I'm not going to presume to tell her story here. But I'll just say that many of the things, from her childhood to her relationship with my father to a second marriage, and never losing herself. She never lost herself. She's always had the grace to claim her life and explore her avenues. And that spirit has rubbed off on every kid in my family who readily jumps in, with both feet in all of life. And I love that. So I kind of saw that modeled for me. And other than the vulnerability that I displayed yesterday, I'm usually able to keep many of those things in compartments. But I think as the food, of course, becomes cleaner, my choices for living become clearer, my, fake fat suit that I've been wearing starts to come off, there's a lot of vulnerability, and with it comes memories, emotions, just many things are bubbling up. So to be able to move forward and not feel completely paralyzed, which I've certainly felt like at times in my life, I do have to compartmentalize. I do have to put some of that to the side to know that God will take care of it until I'm ready to visit it again. That sometimes I've had to be actually in therapy in a therapist's office to dare to take some of those things out of the box. Sometimes in the presence of my husband, though it's not something I burden him with. He loves me and he wants me to share, but he also knows that he's limited in his ability to fix it. And men often just want to fix it. Do you want a solution? What do you want? You're like, no, I just wanted to process it with you. And they're like, really? My attention span is 1.2 minutes and you're at 4. So find a chick. Because I'm not here for you. I don't know if that's true for you, but men are well-intentioned, but they usually just want to know what is the problem and where's the solution, and forget all the little mushy stuff in between. And women are just like, I just wanted to say it out loud and process it, It's pretty funny. So that's why I'm grateful for this group, because at least I can process some of my stuff and you can click off, or you can give feedback, or you can get something from it. So anyway, this is about compartmentalizing, and that is to just take all your stuff and sometimes set it aside in your heart, in your mind, whatever, so that you can function, and then safely revisit it through writing, through a therapist, through a trusted friend, through a group that you're comfortable in, and, safely process it. And if it gets too much, put it away again. And also to be able to know, and this is like a really big one for me, that those things are not in the present. I don't think you can just throw them out. I honestly don't, because for me that is denial, and it often results in internal diseases and death, along with cancer and everything else, because it literally eats at you. So I don't recommend that. But just knowing that we're safe now. No one's beating me right now. No one's coming home drunk, yelling and screaming and slamming furniture right now. Nobody's making me line up and whipping me with a belt and welting my ass. Nobody. So for right now, I'm safe. Do those things seem absolutely, completely, 1,000% real when I revisit them? Yes. Which again is why it has to be in an appropriate setting. And they're certainly not going away. But I have to remind myself that I am highly functioning and safe in this moment. And that with the strength of that, I will be able to safely unfold and let go of some of that past. And also, as I was alluding to in another video, when you think of the big picture and you jump too far forward with so many unknowns, it seems like you're just going to fall through to wherever, I don't even know, all the way to hell, I guess. But what we forget is that as we're moving forward and building momentum, we're actually, in essence, building a bridge. Like each strong step we make, each conscious choice towards wellness is building another brick in a bridge that when we finally get there will be well in place for us to cross. So no, that bridge will not hold us down. It's not even there. But stone by stone and brick by brick, it will be in place by the time we have the courage or we're called to cross it. I've said before, God is merciful, and he doesn't unveil many things until he thinks we have the courage to even face them. And in doing so, he's not going to let us fall. Not only will he so preciously hold us, but there will be a very strong bridge, and brick by brick we'll be able to cross it. So that's my thought, my friends. What do you know about compartmentalizing? Is it true for you? Are you open to looking into it more? I'd love to know your thoughts. Like if you like. Join us if you haven't. And do know that I pray for you. Seriously, every night I pray for this community. And that until we talk again, I wish that you would be blessed.